There's a misconception in our world that a man with no friends or a small circle is lonely or lacking. But let me tell you, from a lifetime of experience, the opposite is often true. A man who chooses solitude or limits his inner circle is often the most secure, self-aware, and fulfilled person you'll meet. In this video, I'll share the reasons why this is true, and trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end because the final point ties everything together. And it's the one insight that can change how you view your own relationships forever. The power of knowing yourself. A man with no friends or only a select few close ones gains a remarkable opportunity, the time and space to truly know himself. In our fast-paced social world, this might seem counterintuitive, but stepping away from the crowd allows a man to reflect deeply on who he is. This self-awareness is the foundation of security and confidence, and it's built through solitude. When a man spends time alone, he is faced with his unfiltered thoughts and emotions. He begins to understand what drives him, what brings him joy, and what holds him back. He confronts his insecurities and fears without relying on others to distract or reassure him. This is not always easy. It takes courage to sit with yourself and examine your life honestly, but it's profoundly rewarding. A man who knows himself can navigate the world with clarity and purpose because he understands his own values, goals, and limitations. Without the constant influence of others, he's free to define himself on his own terms. He doesn't live according to societal expectations or the opinions of friends. Instead, he builds his identity from within. For example, instead of following trends or seeking approval through material possessions, he pursues what genuinely matters to him. Whether that's mastering a skill, building a career, or simply enjoying a quiet life, he shapes his path based on self-knowledge, not external pressure. Solitude also cultivates emotional resilience. When a man relies solely on himself to process his emotions, he develops tools to handle stress, sadness, or disappointment without needing others to validate his feelings. This doesn't mean he avoids relationships, far from it. It means he approaches relationships from a place of strength, not dependence. He doesn't need others to make him feel whole because he already feels complete within himself. The time spent alone also fosters creativity and problem-solving skills. In silence, the mind finds room to wander and explore ideas. Many of history's great thinkers and leaders have credited solitude as the source of their best ideas. When a man is alone, he can think deeply without interruption. He can solve problems with focus and clarity that are often hard to achieve in a noisy social world. Some might see a man with no friends or a small circle and assume he is isolated or lonely. But for this man, solitude is not a void. It's a sanctuary. It's a space where he can connect with his true self, refine his goals, and cultivate inner peace. He emerges from this space with a sense of confidence that doesn't waver, because it's not built on the shifting sands of external validation. It's rooted in the solid ground of self-awareness. So, when you see a man walking alone, don't pity him, admire him. He is someone who has chosen the path of self-discovery, and that journey is one of the greatest strengths a person can possess. 2. Quality over quantity. In relationships, in today's world, friendships are often treated like status symbols. The more you have, the more successful or popular you're perceived to be. But a man with no friends or a small circle knows that true value lies in quality, not quantity. He's not interested in superficial connections that drain his energy or add unnecessary noise to his life. Instead, he focuses on cultivating a few deep, meaningful relationships that truly matter. Why? Because real friendships require time, effort, and trust. These relationships aren't built overnight. They grow through shared experiences, mutual respect, and unwavering support. A man with a small circle understands this. He doesn't waste his time on people who don't align with his values or who bring negativity into his life. Instead, he invests in people who uplift him, challenge him, and share his vision for a fulfilling life. This approach brings clarity. By limiting his circle, he avoids the drama, gossip, and complications that often come with large social groups. There's no need to juggle multiple friendships or worry about who's upset with whom. Instead, his relationships are a source of peace and strength, not stress. And let's not forget loyalty. A man with a small circle often enjoys deeper bonds of trust. His friends are not acquaintances or casual companions, they are confidants. These are the people who will stand by him through life's toughest challenges and celebrate his victories without envy. Such relationships are rare, but they're worth their weight in gold. By focusing on quality over quantity, he demonstrates his self-respect. He values his time and energy too much to waste it on relationships that don't serve him. This is not arrogance, it's wisdom. It shows that he understands the importance of surrounding himself with the right people, even if it means having fewer of them. Freedom from social pressures. A man with no friends or only a small circle enjoys a freedom that many people never experience. He's not tethered to the expectations or demands of a large social group, and he's liberated from the need to constantly seek approval. This freedom allows him to live authentically and on his own terms. Think about it. In larger circles, people often feel compelled to conform. There's pressure to attend every gathering, agree with the group's opinions, and maintain appearances. This can be exhausting and over time can lead to a loss of individuality. But the man with no friends or a small circle isn't concerned with fitting in. He's focused on being true to himself. This freedom extends to how he spends his time. He's not bound by social obligations or the fear of disappointing others. If he wants to spend a weekend reading, working on a personal project, or simply relaxing, he does so without guilt. His life is his own, and he answers only to himself. Another significant benefit is the freedom to grow. Social pressures often discourage people from breaking away from the norm or pursuing unconventional paths. But the man who isn't tied to a large group has the freedom to evolve, take risks, and explore new opportunities without fearing judgment or criticism. In this freedom lies great strength. By refusing to be controlled by societal expectations, he becomes the master of his own destiny. He proves that living a fulfilling life doesn't require a crowd. It requires courage, clarity, and the ability to walk your own path. 4. The strength of independence. Independence is one of the greatest hallmarks of a secure man, and it's a quality that flourishes when a man has no friends or only a small circle. In a world where many rely on others for validation, guidance, or even entertainment, the man who stands alone is truly strong. He has learned to depend on himself for everything, from emotional support to practical problem solving. This independence doesn't mean he's a loner or antisocial. It means he has developed the skills and mindset to thrive without constant input from others. He can make decisions confidently because he trusts his own judgment. He doesn't need someone else to tell him what to do, how to feel, or how to act. Independence also manifests in his ability to find joy and fulfillment on his own. While many people feel restless or incomplete without a crowd around them, this man enjoys his own company. He can explore his hobbies, passions, and interests without needing external approval. Whether he's hiking alone in nature, working on a personal project, or simply enjoying a quiet evening, he's content because his happiness comes from within. This self-reliance also gives him resilience. Life is full of challenges, and the ability to navigate those challenges without crumbling is a true sign of strength. A man who is independent has built the tools to face adversity head-on. He doesn't rely on a large support network to pull him through tough times. He knows he can handle whatever comes his way. Independence doesn't mean isolation. It means empowerment. This man can still welcome others into his life, but he does so from a position of strength, not neediness. His independence makes him a more stable, grounded, and reliable person for those lucky enough to be in his small circle. The ability to say no. One of the clearest signs of a secure man is his ability to say no. In a world that often pressures us to say yes to everything, social gatherings favors commitments. A man with no friends or a small circle knows the value of protecting his time and energy. Saying no isn't about being selfish. It's about setting boundaries. This man understands that his resources, whether they're time, energy, or emotional bandwidth, are finite. He prioritizes what truly matters to him and doesn't feel the need to overextend himself to please others. This ability to decline stems from a deep sense of self-worth. He knows his value isn't determined by how much he gives to everyone else, but by how wisely he invests his time and effort. This boundary setting extends to relationships as well. A man who can say no is less likely to tolerate toxic or one-sided friendships. He's not afraid to walk away from people who don't respect him or align with his values. He chooses his connections carefully and ensures that they are mutually beneficial. The power to say no also frees him from societal pressures. He doesn't feel obligated to follow trends, join every social activity, or conform to expectations just to fit in. Instead, he charts his own course, confident in his decisions and unapologetic about his choices. This trait is incredibly liberating. It allows him to focus on what's most important, whether that's personal growth, meaningful relationships, or simply enjoying life on his own terms. By saying no to what doesn't serve him, he creates space for what truly matters. And that's a strength few people possess. 6. A deep sense of focus. A man with no friends or a small circle has something most people struggle to find in a noisy social world: focus. Without constant distractions from a large group of acquaintances or endless social obligations, he can channel his time and energy toward the things that truly matter to him. This focus allows him to achieve his goals with precision and determination. Whether it's advancing in his career, mastering a skill, or pursuing a passion, his ability to concentrate gives him a significant advantage. He doesn't waste time juggling shallow relationships or keeping up with group dynamics. Instead, he works with intent, pushing himself closer to success every day. Focus also enables him to live a more deliberate life. He's not pulled in a dozen different directions or overwhelmed by the expectations of others. Instead, he sets clear priorities and aligns his actions with his values. This clarity of purpose makes him not only more productive but also more fulfilled. Moreover, his focus isn't limited to external achievements. It extends to his inner life as well. With fewer distractions, he has the mental space to reflect, meditate, or simply enjoy the present moment. This kind of mindfulness enhances his sense of peace and stability, making him even more secure in himself. In a world filled with noise and endless distractions, the ability to focus is a rare and powerful gift, and it's one that a man with a small circle cultivates with intention. The wisdom of selectivity. A man with a small circle doesn't isolate himself out of fear or rejection. On the contrary, he's deliberate and discerning about the people he allows into his life. This selectivity reflects not only his standards, but also his wisdom. He understands that not everyone deserves a seat at his table. Some people bring negativity, drama, or manipulation into relationships, and this man has no time for any of it. By choosing his connections carefully, he ensures that his inner circle is filled with positivity, trust, and mutual respect. This selectivity also demonstrates emotional intelligence. He knows how to recognize red flags in relationships and isn't afraid to walk away when something doesn't feel right. His small circle isn't an accident, it's the result of thoughtful choices and self-respect. Furthermore, this wisdom extends beyond friendships to all areas of his life. He applies the same level of discernment to his career, hobbies, and even how he spends his time. He doesn't chase after every opportunity or accept every invitation. He focuses on what aligns with his goals and values. This ability to be selective is a mark of maturity. It shows that he's not driven by ego or the need for approval, but by a deep understanding of what truly matters. This, in turn, makes him a more secure, grounded individual. True inner peace. Perhaps the greatest strength of a man with no friends or a small circle is the inner peace he achieves. Without the noise and chaos of a large social network, he has the space to cultivate tranquility within himself. This peace doesn't come from external validation or the approval of others. It comes from within. He has made peace with who he is, what he stands for, and the life he's chosen to lead. He doesn't need to prove himself to anyone or seek affirmation from the outside world. Inner peace also means freedom from comparison. Many people measure their worth by how they stack up against others, but this man understands that such comparisons are meaningless. He lives his life on his own terms, content with what he has and who he is. This serenity is powerful because it radiates outward. Others may not understand his choices, but they can't help but notice the calm and confidence he exudes. It's the kind of peace that comes from knowing you are enough just as you are. In the end, this inner peace is the ultimate sign of security. It's not something that can be bought, borrowed, or given. It must be earned through self-awareness, focus, and intentional living. And it's a gift that stays with him for a lifetime. In a world that often equates popularity with success, the man with no friends or a small circle defies the norm. He demonstrates that true strength lies not in numbers, but in self-reliance, quality connections, and the ability to live authentically. His independence, focus, and inner peace set him apart as someone who knows his worth and refuses to compromise it. This isn't about rejecting others or living in isolation. It's about intentional living. It's about choosing quality over quantity, depth over breadth, and purpose over pretense. A secure man builds his life with care, surrounding himself with only the people and pursuits that align with his values. Remember, the journey to becoming this kind of man isn't easy, but it's worth it. It requires introspection, courage, and the willingness to step away from societal pressures. But the rewards, independence, clarity, and peace, are life-changing.